Good morning, neighbor. I'm happy to hear that you're on the mend. I think I have just the thing you need. Something very old from the Prose Edda. And if this philosophy was good enough for the ancestors, it should be good enough for us in the modern day. If we reference the Prose Edda, it says, "The mind has both the power to create both joy and sorrow." A lore literalist will only take it at those two things. But we do philosophy and update these things here. So this wisdom would also pertain to love and hate, happiness and sadness, community and loneliness. What about hope and hopeless? You know, neighbor, the ancestors talked a lot, and I mean a lot, about hope. It's better to fight and fall than to live without hope, from the Volsunga Saga, for example. And it only stands to reason that if the mind has the power over these things, then you have the power to switch between one or the other. You can actively walk into a dark room and choose to bump your shins, trip and fall, or turn on the light switch. Yes, while some manipulations might be biological that we cannot help, perhaps a forced manipulation by a partner or someone in our life. But when it's you versus you, these things aside, you have the power to control that hope, that loneliness. I know exactly what you're going through, neighbor. When the VA told me I would never walk again, I had to live and fight this for years. Patience can be toxic when it's forced upon you. It's like not paying the electric bill when you just want to turn on the light switch and be happy like everybody else. And it sure does get lonely in the dark, doesn't it? But you're lucky. They've identified the problem. And while your health may be mending, it's still health. You'll mend soon enough, neighbor. Hold on to that hope. Not all of us are that lucky. It's what the Old Norse would have called a gifta. They had several words to describe luck. Gifta. You're lucky. You're healing. It's a gifta. And that power you have over your own feelings and emotions, that light switch, a gifta of perspective. Now that we have your mindset, grind set, embers going, let's talk about the physical. Train around your injuries if you can. Even something as simple as going on a nature walk is better than nothing. Do we stop climbing a mountain and come back down after we sprain a finger? No. Now then, arthritis is a serious matter. Well, I do not have it. Have you ever noticed how I wear wrist wraps? A preventative measure to help reduce my chances of inflammation, strain, or sprain. They make all kinds of wraps, so you may want to invest in some. Just as there's more than one way to go up a mountain, there are different ways to train around our limitations. And just some perspective, limitations are not preventatives. They're only preventatives if we make that our choice. You know, a lot of people think I'm strong, but in my travels I see somebody deadlifting while they have Parkinson's, cerebral palsy, or in a wheelchair. Well, I just can't help but sit back and admire just how brave and strong they are. How big of a light bill that was to get to that point. Just to walk in the door. Then I look back and remember what I went through, what you're currently going through, and I make sure I pay my light bill, i.e. keep my perspective on the hopeful side of things. So keep fighting, neighbor, and don't lose hope. Don't forget to pay your light bill.